So today we will look at these. What is environmental science? This is module 0, and this picture clearly shows the decreased air pollution during the pandemic. This is the same area, the Indicate Monument in New Delhi. It's a typical day in 2019, whereas in the 2020 during the COVID pandemic. So this is one first case study. The COVID-19 pandemic was the most important and devastating global health crisis in 100 years. So we will all get through this. We already been through this, right? So we will examine animals and interaction between within the biological system in Unit 1 and 2. The diseases like the zoonotic diseases in Unit 8. In general, these diseases have increased in recent years because look at ourselves, our population has grown exponentially and greater number of humans have made contact with animals that transmit zoonotic disease. So this era, COVID-19, was an important environmental science event because it greatly affected birth rates, death rates, and life expectancy number for the human population. And also there are important topics that we will cover in Unit 3. And as a result, the pandemic resulted in decreased population growth rate, which is the difference between the birth and the death rate. But look on the bright side, people consume fewer materials and less fuel and travel less. So this result in leading to decreased emission of carbon dioxide and other air pollutants. There was a great deal of knowledge we gained from the COVID-19. We learned about the role of humans on the natural environment by watching what happened when our impact would reduce. So we have a return of wildlife and restoration of the biological system. At Yosemite National Park, deer, bobcat, and bell, they will normally crowd with human visitors, and those areas have returned to more natural condition. As the pandemic result changes the growth rate of human population, it also led to consumption and travel by humans. So let's practice the skyscape. In the experiment, it was an important science event. We have a testable hypothesis that includes an environmental science aspect of the COVID-19 pandemic post-2020. So we will identify and describe a research method to test the hypothesis, and we will explain one modification to the research method. Let's look on these words. We were dependent on earth resources such as air, water, and soil for our existence. Without them, we won't have survived. But we also alter the planet in many ways, both large and small scales. So we put these resources at risk. When we study the environmental sciences, it will help us to understand how we have changed the planet and identify ways of responding to these changes. So there are 4 big ideas in environmental science which will give us a vast amount of information. And we have the underlying assumption and the overarching principle of this course, where they relate to energy transfer, the interaction between Earth system, interaction between different species and the environment, and sustainability. As so much information available to us and much of it is new, so we need to use the scientific inquiry and investigation and also the method to evaluate this information.